we had a great festival last year, so we tried to keep to that model and grow it, let it evolve on its own, and that's what it's doing. We have a few more shows, a couple of more workshops, so, it grows as it goes.
We had more people come, we had more shows, so it grew, but in a really nice way. And it still had that very professional feel, and everyone that came was really impressed and really wants to be a part of it for future years. It was really exciting to kind of recreate some magic.
For us to have people on the various accessibility spectrum, to have different ethnicities, different cultures, different languages, different disciplines, all of that has a space and is celebrated.
To have people come down, like for the first festival especially, and say, wow, this festival looks like it's been going on for 5 years. Now to come into St. John's expecting a world-class festival.
But in French they say renouveler, so we have to always keep it fresh and new. So it will always be fresh and new, but with all the elements that really work and that make it such a success.
There is something that you here in St. John's are doing that is a real circus family that the rest of the circus world has a lot to learn from.
Welcome to All Dressed Up.
And nowhere to go.
I'm Benny Malone, Artistic Director of the Wonderbolt Circus.
And I'm Anahareo. I am the Artistic Director of iFly Aerial Arts and the co-director, co-founder of the St. John's International Circus Fest.
And here we are, all dressed up. A few places to go now as we go into level 3. And Anahareo, I see you're all dressed up tonight.
Yes, like I said, every dress does have a story. Mm-hmm. I believe the last time, and maybe the only time I wore this dress, was for the Wonderbolt Gala, which was last year at Finland and Newfoundland. It had some kind of a sparkle theme, I'm sure.
We always do.
So I went with a blue sparkle, and here we are tonight with this dress.
Well, if that's the only time you wore that dress, we're going to have more galas, because that's a spectacular glittery
more
dress.
More galas, more everything. More of everything is tonight we have fantastic guests. Yeah. Our first time having guests from Europe, all the way from Finland.
All the way from Europe, all the way to Newfoundland. Our first guest from Newfoundland on the All Dressed Up show is tonight.
And like we said, here we are, episode 3. And
level 3.
In Newfoundland, we're in level 3. That does mean that we have a little bit more freedom. Things are starting to open up, so it's starting to get a little bit exciting, like we're just kind of going to a new normal. So.
Yeah, and we're here, live on Facebook. Glad you could join us. Go to our chat room, comments, say hello, tell us where you're from after the show.
Feel free to ask a question, and maybe by the end of the show we can get to your questions. So just let us know that you're there, because it's digital, but we'd like to know that you are with us.
If we see you there, we'll give you a little shout out.
Exactly. Speaking of that, let's talk about our guests tonight.
Yeah, our first guests are all the way from Helsinki, Finland. Me and Anahareo have both been to Helsinki. We love it there.
Yeah, and Kate and Patsy, actually, I met Patsy in Montreal about 1.5 years ago, and this is my feeling of how much we need to connect in person with people. I met Patsy at an industry event, Sinners, and within 2 minutes, he started telling me how he was from Finland, the show that he did with his wife, all the different things he could bring to the festival, and pretty much in 2 minutes of meeting the person, I had him booked. And sure enough, he came to the festival last year.
And boy, did they bring a lot to the festival. They really did. I mean, they had a great foot juggling act. They did a kids show. They
did the family show. So they have a 2-person show that's a full hour and 15 minutes long with as many acts as you can think of. Yeah. Just incredible.
Plus so 2 kids.
We're so happy to have them. Let's introduce
Kate and Patsy.
Hey, hello from Finland.
Hello.
Hello. From Helsinki.
Helsinki. Well, we'd like to bring people in from all around the world. Great to see you guys again. You look fabulous. See you all dressed up with nowhere to go, just like us. I've been wondering, because when we booked you last year for the St. John's International Circus Fest, I remember looking at your schedule to make sure you could make it here. And I think in the month of September you were in Spain and Italy, Germany, and then going through North America to us. So I know you're always very, very busy. And I was wondering, what's life been like after the Circus Fest and then going into the pandemic? I'm sure you were very busy up until then and probably not very busy after. So what have you been up to since we saw you last?
We were 3 weeks home after we came from St. John's. We went to Japan. We did the Shizuoka World Cup. Then we were 1 day home. We went to Germany, did the Crystal Palace Varieté.
Oh, lovely.
For 6 weeks. Then we were home around 3 weeks. We went to Hong Kong.
Wow.
So just before the pandemic started in Wuhan, we went there on the 26th into Hong Kong, and in the evening they said that it's cancelled, the whole festival, because of the Wuhan pandemic. And then we got a gig to go to, in the end of February, we got a gig to go to Italy, to Rome. And 1 day before we left, Milan was in pandemic. So,
Milan,
but
wow.
anyway, we went Hong Kong, and they were checking our the scanners and everything. We went through, and the same thing in Italy. And then when we came back from Italy, back to Finland, and there was nothing, like no checking out, no, everybody was just walking, and everything was fine.
Wow.
Sounds like you were traveling the path of the pandemic.
Yes.
And then you made it back home.
We were following or trying to avoid it,
Yeah.
being in the same country where it's going.
Incredible.
That is crazy. Well, I've been, of course, living the pandemic here. And then I have circus friends and family. My husband's German, as you know, so I've been following it in Germany. But I'm really curious how it's been in Finland for you during the pandemic. Did schools close? Have they reopened? Training venues? All those kind of things? How is life there? Has it started to reopen, or was it fully locked down for a while?
Well, yes, the schools closed, and restaurants, and basically the same situation like everywhere else. But we were able to go in the park with the kids. We were able to go outside. And 1 week ago, they opened the schools again, and life is changing now, and slowly it's getting normal. And also the restaurants are open now, and the training places are also open, but there you can go only like 10 people. 10 people can go there. So we have to always check in the schedules how many people there are. And like, for example, today, we couldn't go anywhere because everything was full. So we practiced in our backyard, and all the neighbors, they were watching our rehearsals, and they had some entertainment. That was fun.
That's fun. Are there new protocols? So is there more cleaning, do you notice, in the gyms? Like, do you have to, do sanitization before and after? Has anything changed that way in the venues?
There's a lot of these kind of, all the time you have this bottle, and you do this, and you go to the toilet, then you do this, and then you clean your hands, and you do this again. In the kindergarten, the same thing with our kids all the time. Yeah.
Sounds like a clown routine becoming.
And masks? Do you have to wear masks in Finland when you're out, or that's not like an obligation?
It's not an obligation. You it's up to you.
Okay.
Basically, nobody keeps it.
Yeah.
I think today there was like 20 new infections.
Okay.
Oh, that's good.
So it's not. It has never been over 100. 140 was the heaviest day.
Right.
It's like 7,000 infections.
Right.
In total.
That's good.
That's good.
So throughout the pandemic, is there have you felt like you've learned any lessons? Any kind of insights come from it? Anything that you probably wouldn't have realized, except that this horrible thing happened? But a lot of people seem to have discovered different things about themselves or about the society that they're in through the pandemic. Have you had any insights like that?
It's we noticed that it's heavy to have 2 kids, one 3-year-old and one 1.5-year-old, having sharing a flat with 51 square meters in the city of Helsinki, trying to work
and practice,
keep up with your company, do new acts, film new acts. What else?
How old are your kids?
Trying to find some job. It's not easy.
but we have survived.
Wow. Kate, how old are your kids?
Sorry?
How old are your children?
Our daughter is 3 years and our son is 1.5.
So, yeah.
So they are very, they're climbing everywhere and they need the attention all the time. So it's some challenges for us.
My little story about Finland is I actually was in Turku for the cultural Olympiad and the cultural...
The European
Olympiad,
Cultural Capital. Is what it was.
European Cultural Capital 2011. And we were there with our 6-month-old daughter, Ella, at the time. And it happened to be when Finland had a heat wave. So it's not quite pandemic, but I remember we had an apartment on like the 8th floor. We couldn't figure out how the windows opened. I think we figured that out in the last week of a 3-month stay. And I remember just like going kind of crazy in that apartment and having to keep the 6-month-old out of trouble. And, you know, we could still get out in the day and we still had a show at night. And Benny actually came and took care of the baby. Then we had my husband's mom, my mom. So it was like, you know, a full-on family affair. But I was totally, I'm in the same situation as you. I have 3 kids here, and I got to say, I think that might be something so beautiful about it is to have all that time with your kids that you wouldn't necessarily get. But I think they need to see other people and do other things as well. And I like, exactly like you, to try to work at the same time and be creative and productive. Something kind of has to suffer, right? So it's interesting.
So, and we've been in Helsinki, which is a beautiful city. We love it. So is it reopening now?
Yes, everything is good now, or as good as it can be. It's heavy still. No work, but we can see our parents and grandparents. We can see them, and it's more or less more normal. Let's say it like this.
Yeah,
as normal as it can be.
No, exactly.
Yeah. And so you mentioned that you're training sometimes at home or in a park. Have you worked on anything new during the pandemic? Have you created any new acts for upcoming shows or maybe just new inspirations for yourself?
Yes, this was a great time for us because we have had time to create new things, and we actually created 3 new acts.
Whoa.
We filmed them and we did some new photos, and we now trying to sell a new act to the world, and it's very quiet for the moment. But yeah, and then we have done like performing. We have been performing in sheltered houses, or like a house for the old people in the yard, and also in our backyard for the neighbors. And we have more requests coming from this people house for the old people, and it has been a lot of fun. And it's nice to see how they enjoy the show and circus.
And your shows are so great for that, because you don't have huge rigging or tight ropes or lots of mechanical requirements. You can get to just sit there and do it pretty well anywhere, can't you?
Yeah, like now, it's the sofa chair actually that we use in our show.
I love it. It's perfect.
That's great.
Well, I think you prepared a little video for us. Did you want to say anything about it before we watch it, or just show it? Anything you want to say?
It's what we have been doing 3 months or 2.5 months now. There is things from outside when we were doing performing in our neighbor's yard, and there was people watching the windows of our show, and
some video from our home when we are trying to practice and trying to do some work, and the kids are running a little bit. So just our life
everyday
during this pandemic time.
This amazing time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's great. That's perfect. Well, then
we look forward to watching your video. We hope to get to see you again here in Canada and have a real hug.
Yeah, we'll give you a virtual hug.
Yeah, and we loved having you last year at the festival. It was a real highlight.
It really was. Okay, thanks guys, and here's Kate and Patsy's video. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
The family that plays together stays together.
And they strike me as people who would continue to train in a pandemic. I have to say I don't do that same training regime right now with my kids, but like I can totally see how.
It's great, and outside,
And
performing
outside
for the neighbors and
old
stuff.
age- We
Isn't
had
that
someone
great?
comment who said we should do something like that here in old age homes. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
it's a
good
great
idea.
idea. Hi to Fedja who's watching. I saw Meg Weg there. I know Diana's sister and mom.
Oh, good.
So
Well.
Emily Austin, I believe, as well was there.
Good. Well, you'll be, and all those people know personally our next guest, who is a local legend, Susan Jarvis. She's worked a lot with Wonderbolt over the years. She's been my partner on a Christmas show, The Sights Before Christmas. We do a duo clown show, which we love doing, and we do animation for events.
And she's worked with iFly as well. She's been at our camps, and she most recently went to London, Ontario with my iFly performance group, and she was one of the chaperones, and she also taught hula hoop classes to the London Academy, which Meg Weg runs London Academy.
Yeah, she runs a circus schools, teaches camps. She does everything. She does a bit of everything. But she's a fabulous hula hoop act, a fantastic hula hoop act with fire, LED lights, and by themselves, juggles, does everything. We love her, ladies and gentlemen, Susan Jarvis.
Hi guys! Hi Benny!
Hi.
Anahareo.
Hi,
How are
Susan.
you?
You're looking fabulous. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm all
Very
dressed
sparkly.
up. Well, not really. This is what I wear every day.
I love the sparkle.
Yeah.
I'm all
Thank you.
for it.
Well, Susan, I've seen you in town a few times over the pandemic, and of course we did a show in someone's driveway just recently, which was great fun. But beyond that, how have you been doing during the pandemic? What have you been up to for the last 3 months?
I've been doing pretty good. I've been just kind of like indulging in all of my hobbies that aren't circus because I have like 100 million hobbies. I shaved my
Nice.
I
head.
love it.
At the beginning of this, and now I love my hair, and I'm never growing it back out. I love it so much. I highly recommend everybody shave their head.
I did the exact opposite, Susan. I grew every bit of hair I got on my body, but
You went full bushy. I haven't been up to like a ton. The weather's been really bad. We're here in exotic Newfoundland. It's been pretty like gross and cold outside, so I haven't been like practicing much or doing much of hula hooping and everything because I've been stuck in my little apartment in the cold. But I mean, I have lots of things to keep me busy. I'm never bored.
On
so.
that note, I'm always curious because I kind of have a routine now, and I feel like I do have a Monday to Friday, and then it's a weekend. What does a typical day of Susan look like during a quarantine? Do you have a typical day, or is it changing all the time? Or
Well, it's pretty much like a typical day because I'm getting like the CERB thing from the government, and like there's no like I had like 3 jobs and I lost all my jobs at the same
Right.
time when all this started. So it's been like I don't have children like you guys or Kate and Pasi. Like I'm just like kind of floating around in the ether. My sleep schedule is completely messed up. Sometimes I don't sleep till late at night, and sometimes I fall asleep early. It's like
right.
all over the
it's pretty nuts. And but I try to like wake up in the morning, put on my blue eyeshadow, like, make a coffee, go outside a little bit, and just like try to keep like kind of a regular pattern.
So nothing to
But
take care of, no new additions.
all run together.
Well, we got a kitten. I think you might have got a pet or was that before the pandemic, or was it pandemic inspired? Mine was totally pandemic, total meltdown, just get a cat.
My pet was not pandemic inspired. I got my pet before the pandemic started. I'm not going to say what my pet is because I have a little video at the end of this interview.
Ooh,
to show
okay.
you guys.
Ooh, piquing our
I got
interest.
my pet right before the pandemic, and I remember babysitting for you, Anahareo, and the kids wanted to know all about it. So I made a little bit of video for kids to kind of explain some frequently asked questions about my new pet.
Your new pet.
And you got a new car too, didn't you?
I did. I got a new car.
Does that
right
help during the
before
pandemic?
I lost all my jobs.
It's a good timing, right?
What?
I said it's a great timing.
Yeah, it is. But you know what? I think it's great because now I have a really good car and lots of free time. So I'm really hoping like soon I can go camping and maybe go drive out the highway. Like my old car wasn't very reliable. So, at least I have a good reliable car to drive me around Newfoundland this summer.
No, Susan, I know you're a binge watcher. I know you love watching series and movies and stuff. So, what's been your number one pandemic movie? Have you watched and rewatched?
Well, I've been watching a lot of movies with David. You guys know David, my
The fabulous David Mercer.
Fabulous
David,
juggler
wherever
as
you are,
well.
he's not here. But we have a list of movies that he got like a big poster with a list of movies on it. So we've been trying to tick those movies off during this. We've also been trying ever since that movie Parasite won the Academy Award, the Korean movie, we've been trying to watch more foreign films. So we watched like a really cool French movie a while ago, like an old black and white movie. And we watched, I think the best one I've watched this whole quarantine was The Seven Samurai, Kurosawa.
Oh, wow, yes.
Did you see it?
Awesome. I was sitting there like, this is the best movie I've ever seen.
It's great,
I think if you can get over subtitles, there's so many movies out there that are just amazing.
Have you seen Dead to Me?
Yes, I saw the first season.
I binged that one. I gotta say that was.
I recommend Les Enfants de Paradis, which is a great foreign movie with subtitles.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So text it to me, Benny. I'll watch it.
I'll do that. Okay, great.
And I'm curious. This week is a big week here in St. John's, and we're gone to a level 3. Finally, level 3, meaning. For anyone who doesn't know what level 3, every province, every country has their way of doing this pandemic and reopening. For us, that means we can go to restaurants again. The mall is open. What else? Physiotherapy here. It all sounds kind of superficial, but no, playgrounds, there are other things. I'm just curious, is there something that you can't wait to do that hasn't been possible up till this week?
So I really have been excited for campgrounds to open because I really want to go camping this summer. Like I said, I have a car, so I can drive to like maybe Gross Mourne, get some camping done. But my favorite thing to do when I'm kind of feeling down is to go to the store and try on fancy dresses. And I really miss trying on ball gowns in the store. That's like one of my favorite pastimes. I don't even buy them. I just like to put them on and like.
So that's what you'll be doing this week?
The last thing I'd be excited for is I hope we get to do some form of like circus camp or like kid thing this summer because I really miss children a lot. I'm very alone.
I agree, Susan, totally, and we will have to look into that and see what we can do there for sure.
Yeah,
and
totally. Because I just that show we did, Benny, was like the best thing I think that's happened.
Yeah, I agree. It was such fun to connect with audiences again. I got to tell everybody who's watching that Susan is one of the most gifted teachers of circus skills that I've ever met. So we've got to harness that energy again, obviously.
And I'll just say, as a parent, any camp that opens, I'll be signing my kid up for it. So like, I hope there are camps. I'm planning probably with iFly to have something in August, and we're talking about different things. Again, we kind of have to go with the protocols and reinvent what we've done before, which I think gives a lot of possibilities. So stay tuned, everybody, because something will be happening, and Susan will be involved.
In the middle of it. On that note, kind of anything you're working on new? Any new little projects that you got on the go, Susan?
We do have my fire spinning group Smoke Show. We have a little project in the pipeline. I'm not really sure of the details yet, so I'm not going to say too much, but you can follow us on Facebook. We have a page and we're going to be updating as we go. We're trying to stay within public health guidelines and things like that. So we're working out some kinks, but I think this summer there will be something going on with us.
And what's kind of probably cool with fire is that you kind of need to do it most of the time outdoors like that, or it makes it more accessible. So I think in that sense, you're probably lucky compared to a show that you might relying on indoor, perfect condition. Well, I guess fire, you don't want rain, but still you could have something over you. But I'm just thinking like aerials is a little bit harder sometimes, where I think of shows that depend on a actual structured venue. But when I think of something that would be accessible right now, would probably be a fire show. So I think you're lucky that way.
Totally. For sure. It is like such an outdoor thing. And in Newfoundland, the only time you can really comfortably do fire is outdoors in the summertime.
Right.
So here we are.
We've done shows in the winter, Benny.
I know.
It's not
fun.
outdoors.
The snow falling down and the fire is a great juxtaposition, but it's hard on the hands.
So I think you also prepared a little video. Do you want to say anything about it, or let it speak for itself, or?
Well, like I said earlier, this is just a little video about my new pet. I kind of like made it thinking about the questions that kids ask me when they hear about my pet. Okay. So it kind of just answers some questions and it's a little bit silly. So that's all I have to say about that. I hope you like it.
Cool.
Oh, that's great. Okay, well then, without any further ado, here's Susan's video.
Can't wait to see you social distance in a park sometime soon.
See you, Susan.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Look forward to your video.
Bye,
Thank
Susan.
you.
Thank you.
Some people are cat people, and some people are dog people. Turns out, I'm a snake person. This is Hamlet. Hamlet is a 4-year-old ball python. Ball pythons are very docile animals. I've heard people call them the golden retrievers of snakes. Hamlet is named after the titular character in my favorite Shakespeare play of the plays I've read so far. He's so cute. Hamlet eats rats. You can buy frozen rats at the pet store and just thaw them out and feed them to him. A lot of people I find don't like to feed their snakes live rodents for multiple reasons, but one reason is a snake is only going to attack and try to eat something if it's hungry. So if you put a live, scared animal into a tank with a snake that's not hungry, the animal might try to defend itself and it might end up hurting your pet, and it's no fun for anybody. And he only poops once a month. Can you imagine? It's very unusual to hear of a ball python biting a human. The only reason they would bite or strike at a human is if they felt like very threatened or very scared, or if you were hurting them in some way, they would be trying to get away or defend themselves. Hamlet has never bitten me, and he's never struck at anybody ever. He is very chill. No, I'm not afraid of that, because that would never happen. Constrictors would never try to constrict and eat any prey that they know that they can't fit in their mouth. Obviously, I am much larger than my snake, and even if he did start to squeeze around my neck as hard as he could, he's not that strong, and I could easily remove him with my hands and put him down somewhere else. But he would never do that. Oh, hello! How's it going, buddy? These are very sweet, very gentle animals. You know, I think a lot of people have a lot of misconceptions about these snakes, especially in Newfoundland. I think it's because we don't have any wild reptiles here. So that is Hamlet, my pet snake. I hope you all enjoyed meeting him. I'm gonna put him back in his home now so that he can get some sleep. And maybe later I'll try to feed him. Wave goodbye! Wait, you can't. He can't wave goodbye. Thanks for watching.
Wow, that is a beautiful creature. It didn't remind me in any way of a golden retriever, but it's a very, very beautiful snake.
Yeah, it was lovely. It's so funny because it made me think of another guest that we're going to have in the coming weeks towards the end. Is one of my favorite hula hoop artists, and it reminds me of Susan, who's hula hooping as well, and his name is Tigris Philip.
Okay.
And he has snakes as pets. So I'm wondering if there's like a correlation between snakes and hula hooping, and anyway.
And
we'll
both
ask Philip.
our guests next week are from Europe, actually, aren't they?
Yeah, we're so lucky next week. So join us next week, episode 4. We have Carole Demers. She's one of my best friends, to say that, but she's also an amazing, amazing Russian bar artist. Check out White Crow on YouTube. She's also been to the festival twice, and she's a big part of what we do. And
Paulina Razanen is also coming to the show next week. And both of these people are incredible. Paulina's from Finland. She has her own company. She's been to Newfoundland, worked with Wonderbolt. Both of these artists are world-class superstars in the world of circus. So you really won't want to miss that show. Next week, and all dressed up, know where to go.
And if you've missed any of our episodes, or if you're a little bit curious about what we do here at Wonderbolt, you're going to want to check out our YouTube channel, and that is Wonderbolt Circus, and you're going to be able to see past episodes that we've done and some other projects. And
yeah, we have archival material on that and new material that we're doing, plus all dressed up and know where to go. And we'd like to thank the cast and crew, Stefan and Marco, who make this show possible, the whole Wonderbolt team that works together with us, and of course you, the viewer. Don't forget, go to YouTube.
We had someone watching from Victoria, BC tonight. Hi to Paul. And we've had a couple of little hellos. We had, a few other people saying that they're really enjoying this, and they are big fans of Kate and Pasi, and a couple of Susan Jarvis fans out there. So thank you so much for joining us, and please tune in next Wednesday for Wonderbolt Wednesday.
That's right. See you later, guys.
We'll still be all dressed up, and we'll still have really nowhere else to go but to hang out with you.
Maybe a few little places at level 2.
At level 2.
Bye, all.